runs on time.
Well, Ross, did you just
the railroading's on time?
Did you just put out a Mussolini joke there?
Yeah, that was a reference to that. This episode, we're going to be talking about timing and running a game on time, which apparently is a problem for many people out there. So we're going to try and help you diagnose this problem and deal with it.
Because that's what we do.
When shit gets real, we deal with it.
We're boosters.
Yeah, we put on sunglasses, deal with it, and walk away from explosions.
With the song playing, with the theme
exactly,
playing.
And then so anyways, we here at RPPR, we still doing all kinds of great stuff for you. I hope you guys liked our little April Fool's joke on the actual play. That was an actual game, but we were all intentionally being assholes. In case you weren't wondering.
And the thing is, I still wonder how that happened.
Yeah,
because no one planned to do that. We didn't sit down like okay.
No, we kind of did when Aaron was late running the game.
No, well, what I mean is
up.
we didn't actually go. Okay, hey guys, when Aaron gets here, let's just be the biggest bunch of assholes we could possibly. That never came out.
Not directly, but I think it was kind of implied. That was the impression I got. I mean, when we were making youth pastors, social workers named McBain and Mormons turned Scientologists. Yeah, we're kind of like, we're going to be assholes. So that's the haunting on Call of Cthulhu on the actual play podcast. So if you want to hear the worst... us being assholes to a player, to a guy who's never run Call of Cthulhu before.
Aaron was grateful for that.
Yeah, so we kind of broke him in for...
Because it realized probably, hey, no matter what you get at Gen Con, it's probably not going to be as bad as that.
Yeah, because these people traveled and paid money to play this game, so hopefully they're all not going to be sociopathic, jerks like us. We broke the douchebag meter, one of the commenters said. So that was great. Also, in news, Zombies of the World, pre-order now.
Buy the book!
Yeah, pre-order it now and get a free poster. PDF when I release that. Probably release the PDF at the end of the month for the pre-order.
This is all Ross has.
Yes. But if you're an international customer, there's now an option for pre-ordering for international customers, because we actually had several. We've had several international pre-orders so far, so it's
now,
just $13
Ross Payton, internationally renowned writer.
Now I've also started writing blog posts on Zombies of the World to talk about how I came up with Zombies of the World, how I shot the web series, sort of the behind the scenes look of how it came to be.
I'll be writing some stuff myself.
Yeah, we're also going to be doing blog posts set in the Zombies of the World universe. So Tom's going to be writing advice columns as written by a New England ghoul. AKA a Lovecraftian ghoul, so that will be something
just new to this whole internet thing.
Yes, so this will be fun for him, fun for us. So keep an eye on that. Also, in RPPR news, I'm setting up a role-playing public radio mirror on archive.org. If you don't know do you know what archive.org is?
I've heard of it, yeah.
Okay, for those of you who haven't listened, I was kind of hoping you would say that so you could do that whole annoying thing.
Okay, well here, wait, Ross. I am not sure I have heard of this. Perhaps you could explain to me, and thus, in reality, to our listeners, what this is.
Thank you, Tom.
You are welcome.
You silly fool. How can you not have heard of archive.org?
Because I am a terrible human being.
Archive.org is a nonprofit organization that tries to archive as much public domain material and Creative Commons material in the internet. If you've heard the Wayback Machine, it's basically trying to catalog every single web page it can, so that you can see what web pages look like 10 years ago, or even like close to 20 years now. And so they have what they call the community audio archives, where anyone can upload audio files and put it under Creative Commons license. Now, technically, RPPR has always been under a Creative Commons license because I use PodSafe music, and in order to do that, you have to then license the whole thing as Creative Commons. I've never.
So what? You don't use Linkin Park or anything for?
No, because they have big record labels that sue people,
and you have standards.
Well, yeah. I wouldn't use Linkin Park because I'm not crawling in my skin. We don't crawl in our skin here.
You'd use DJ Shadow though if you could, wouldn't you?
Yes. It would be only DJ Shadow. I would be like, even his weird stuff, like the high school band stuff.
As you prostrate yourself before them.
Yeah, exactly. Well, him, yes, because he is an awesome DJ. You don't even know, Tom. You don't even know. Anyway, so what I'm getting to, I've already put all the episodes of RPPR, our main episode, all 55 episodes so far, not this one, obviously, on archive.org. So you can now have one location if you want to catch up on all the old episodes. If you want to introduce a new person to RPPR, they can just send them to that webpage, and they can then get all the episodes in one convenient location. And in case if I ever lose web hosting or whatever, or if the web,
Because of the mob guys you owe money to.
right, or if there's some crazy virus that deletes everything and I can't.
Dude, Ross, that was supposed to be a surprise.
Yeah, to delete our own stuff. Yeah.
No, the whole internet.
Yeah. Then it would affect archive.org.
Like, by the way, happy May 1st, everybody, in advance.
Yeah, May Day. So I am currently uploading the actual plays, then I'll put up the interviews, then I'll put the comedy files. So you'll have a convenient place to get everything if you want to not have to scroll through all the archives of our website or whatever. But on our website, of course, we have all the delightful comments and links, show notes, and all this other good stuff. So I'm just throwing that out there as kind of a service to you.
Oh, I'm also, by the way, Ross, I'm also writing another episode of DM and GM.
Oh, great. Yeah, we're going to be doing more comedy now. I've been meaning to. It's just Zombies of the World is, of course, obviously.
And, of course, our comedies actually takes a lot more editing.
We have, we're going to be doing videos, too. It's going to be called Best of RPPR, where we're going to take highlights from the actual plays and turn them into little videos. Fan did one already. We're going to do more. So that's coming down the pipeline. I can't give you exact times because I'm horrible at that. Oh, one last thing. Ruins of Lemuria, the rough draft of the text is done. It weighs in at over 17,000 words. Ian Moody is currently working on the art and the layout, so we haven't forgotten about that, obviously. And
also, Ian Moody's awesome.
Yeah, Ian Moody is awesome. That goes without
saying.
And
Violet Kirk is awesome.
Yeah, she is. They are both awesome artists. They just did Goatse
earrings. I think you do yourself a disservice if you don't get them.
That's one way of describing it, Tom. That's one way. I'm not sure that would be the word bothered? I would use.
Are you bothered by it, Ross?
I just wouldn't want to put any part of Goatse jewelry in my body, is what I'm saying.
It's already there.
Even if it's in my ear hole. I don't even have...
Goatse is with everybody. All you have to do is part the waves, as it were.
That's so terrible. For those of you out there, don't ever Google Goatse. And we're not going to tell you how to spell it, because anyways. Just don't.
Even if just in case there are a few people who haven't seen it.
Yeah. No. Anyways.
2 girls, 1 cup.
Movie. It's worse. You're not helping, Tom. We should move on to the main topic because we're serious business.
Yes, it's very serious business.
Shitting and getting real. Running the game on time. So
this kind of came about at Fear of the Con this year.
It did. We were in the live recording, and one of the hosts came up and said, "How many of you actually had games that finished on time?" And
I think it was, how many have you actually had games that didn't finish on time?
Right, that's right.
And a very good percentage of the crowd raised their hand,
which was very surprising to me. For me, like, I tend to run games that are a little, I wouldn't say short, but you spend probably
concise, quick and concise.
2 to 2.5, a little under 2 to 3 hours is what I shoot for, with half an hour at the beginning to introduce the rules, and then half an hour for breaks or
food runs or
breaks and explaining what happened afterwards and talking to the players and getting feedback from them. So like 2 to 3 hours is what I shoot for when I run a con game, and I usually do that. Sometimes it goes even less than that.
I mean, I've only run 1 con game to date.
Yeah,
but I essentially did the same thing.
Yeah, but apparently it's very common in convention games to not finish on time.
In fact, one of the games I was in that happened. There.
Yeah, it was Divine Fire. Yeah, talk about that.
Yeah, actually, I was one of the main reasons I went to Fear of the Con this year is that somebody was running one of my games, the Divine Fire, the first one, part 1, and I actually had a chance.
The World War II one.
Yeah, the World War II one, and I got a chance to play in a game I wrote, which was actually kind of inspiring and awesome to me.
Yeah. Because they didn't have you haven't written anything. I mean, like in the sense like published anything on it. You've just literally the person all they had to go on was your 2 playtests from our podcast. So
thankfully they went with the one with the prisoners.
Yeah,
but yeah, the game we were there for the full 4 hours that the game was scheduled, and we weren't even 60% done with the scenario by the time that the 4-hour mark rolled around.
All right.
And well, I mean, the GM, he flat out came, and this time he flat out came out and admitted that he got practically 0 sleep the day before.
Right.
And he was saying he didn't even have time to write out the updated characters, so he was using ones from the year before.
Oh, he had run this before? Is that?
Yeah, apparently he had run this before.
I see. So, all right.
But he was using the old characters,
Uh-huh.
and
Was there something wrong with him? I mean,
I don't know. No, I think it's just he wanted to update them, but he was essentially using characters he had a year ago.
I gotcha.
Which they were fine, but and also you could tell he was not prepared to run this.
Yeah.
I think that he was still suffering from the effects of sleep deprivation. You could just see it.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I actually started to metagame at a few points just so we could move things along.
I mean, as the author, you'd be kind of forgiven for that. I think if you have that luxury.
But I admit,
I'm ever getting to play Road Trip and be like, I'm going to the brain and talking to him.
Immediately.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I go to Area 51 now.
And I talked. Yeah, so the GM was not ready.
Yeah.
And the players. Okay, well, there was one player that jumped in. There was an older guy that was playing the British RAF pilot.
Yeah.
But he insisted on speaking in a British accent.
Could he pull that off?
Sometimes.
Okay.
About 45%.
Well, I mean, what do you think led to it not being able to finish on time?
I think that when the GM just flat out admitted that I'm really, really tired here.
Okay.
We all sort of braced ourselves at that point. You could tell everyone was kind of... there was a slight change in the faces of everyone around the table. It's like we kind of like, okay, so we know what's going to happen here now.
Resignation, acceptance in the final stage, or
pretty much. And there was that. Also, he was handing out these character sheets, and he was even telling us, okay, yeah, I had no time to redo these. These are the old ones, and we're like. So I think it's when the problem was in that game is that he flat out told us, essentially, this is not going to be a very good game. I mean, that's essentially what he said by telling us all that.
Mm.
And that was exactly the wrong thing to do.
Okay. All right. So that people kind of gave up before it even started.
And also, and once again, you could tell he had the layout of the base, everything that was supposed to happen.
Right.
And did not deviate from that one iota.
Okay.
So essentially, the plot couldn't go forward until we explored every building, uncovered all the clues, which, thank God, I knew where all of them were. And okay, if I may just offer a piece of criticism, he left out some of the best parts of the game.
Right.
Which threw me for he let Grunwald the ghoul wasn't in there at all.
Right.
Which he's kind of the source to. Okay. He's the one that if you're really, really stuck, can give you a clue.
Yeah.
That's kind of why I threw him in there. Well, A, I find Lovecraft ghouls totally awesome.
Right.
But B, if you're drawing a blank and you realize, oh shit, they missed a clue that I really needed them to find, he can actually provide it for them in another way.
Right. Right. So, so that slowed the game down even further because the players they only had minimal avenues for information.
Yeah, and also, I don't think he really knew. I don't think he had clear in his head what the thing in the basement was.
I gotcha. All right, so lack of preparation, in other words.
Extreme lack of preparation.
All right. And aside from the con games and the Divine, using the Divine Fire as the example, I've heard a lot of accounts of people a lot of emails from listeners and other groups that talk about how their games are like 6 to 12 hours long.
I cannot possibly
when they show up to game, they're doing it for 12 hours.
That is there's no effing way I could do that.
Yeah, no, neither can I. I mean, we when we game, we're focused like a laser and we get shit done. And
I mean, I don't think we've really much had a game that's gone much more than 4 hours.
We have
at a time.
No, we have. Omar Shakti Must Die was close to 6. Because that was special because Patrick and Cree were in town,
and also we took like an hour break to go get donuts.
Right, we did.
At one point.
Yeah, we did take an hour break. So, but altogether, minus the break, that was still like 5 hours. So,
yes,
close to that. Of course, we also had character generation, which wasn't recorded, so the recording's a little shorter than that. But I'm counting that part of the game.
Yeah.
But usually we don't, and the thing is, Tom and I both played in games where it's just gone on too long, and I'm certainly familiar with this idea of a lot of groups. The standard is to play for 8 to 9 hours. They show up, it's a social event, they get to blah 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 blah, but then they wonder why nothing happens in their game or nothing gets done, and so I think games can be. Don't run on time because of 3 main reasons: a lack of focus, a lack of preparation, and lack of endurance. And so we talk about this. The Divine Fire thing was lack of preparation, but I think the common thing is a lack of focus in your game. Yeah,
GMs and players get distracted.
Yeah, but you can do things to minimize those distractions. It's fine to occasionally space out, especially as a player, if it's not your turn. It's like, ugh.
But I really do think D&D combat particularly is really bad for that, because
if you have the wrong mindset, like for me, I stay focused in D&D combat because I have a very I love tactical combat games. I love XCOM, I love Jagged Alliance and things like that. So with D&D, I'm looking at watching the battlefield and see how players are reacting and seeing how the battlefield. But you're not like a tactical you're
no. To me, actually, I'm just talking D&D here.
Right.
Combat is probably my least favorite thing.
Right, because again, you're not like that tactical kind of.
No, I mean I love XCOM, but the thing is, I'm participating at every moment.
Right.
And there are times when, and especially when when there are people that really know the rules and they really take advantage of every single one of them.
Right.
When their one combat round can take up to 8 minutes.
Well, actually, they usually don't because they're focused. Like Bill, he usually knew exactly what he was doing. It was actually you and Jason who I think took longer because you didn't know. That lack of preparation.
But it's like when a single combat round goes on for 20 minutes, which has happened.
Right.
It's it starts. I kind of start. This isn't this isn't really fast, thrilling combat. This is like homework.
Well, it's turn-based RPG.
I do admit. I sometimes have a short attention span.
Right.
I think I try to stay focused sometimes.
Right.
But there are times that I just I'm fucking fading here.
Right. I mean, I think the difference is I could watch a StarCraft 2 match and be interested in that just as a spectator, and you wouldn't.
I actually tried to do that when the game first came out, and I was literally after about 20 minutes sweet evil Jesus, I have to stop this.
See, so that's the difference. For me, even when it's not my round, I'm interested in seeing what the tactical decisions are. Tom, you're not. We just have different preferences, and that's fine. But when everybody is like that, people get, you lose some focus, and you can't be razor focused on the game at all, focused all the time. But there are things you can do to minimize this stuff. I think food and socializing are the 2 biggest things, and gadgets are kind of mandatory. But I think food is the single biggest thing. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, yeah, I've seen what happens when you have Ross cookies.
Yeah, everyone stops and gets them.
But actually, I think when you mention food, I think it's not just people eating. But I think it's what certain foods do to people.
Yeah. And that
pizza to me is a great example of that.
Right. Yeah.
Especially if you have the psychopath who has half a pizza at one sitting.
Okay.
I've seen, or a whole pizza, which I have seen happen.
Wow. Yeah.
One person, an entire large meat lover's pizza gone in 10 minutes by one person.
Wow. That's wow.
But this is one of those son of a bitches that apparently have that weird mutant metabolism.
Uh-huh.
That he's still 180 pounds and feeling like you. I look at I'm not going to name this person's name, but I look like you motherfucker. God, I hate you.
It's Cody, isn't it?
No, it is not Cody.
See, you could have lied there and just
it's you, Ross.
It's me. I'm the zombies.
You are the zombies, Ross.
So I think food is, so the food coma there.
But I think we have a pretty good method. Is we don't start the game until people are mostly done eating.
Right, mostly or entirely. Yeah. With gaming, I think the problem is it breaks up the rhythm of the gaming. People watch the people that are eating, the noise of the food.
Actually, another good example of that is when Dan brought in the not one but two KFC double downs.
Oh my God.
And a Famous Bowl.
Yeah, and we just like gave them shit for
I'm
that.
sorry, there are some things you just have to stare at.
Yeah.
That was one of them.
Oh my God, that is pretty gross. I'm sorry, KFC fans. That shit is gross. That is not cool.
Even in my worst days in high school, when I started to balloon up to nearly 400 pounds at one time.
Yeah.
That would have been too nasty even for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, we would take time. I would see it. Even you. We would just be looking at it.
Well, it also takes up space on the gaming table,
Mm-hmm.
Especially, no matter what you're eating and, the aroma and everything else about it, all that does is distract people.
And also, one of the noises I can't stand is people eating.
Right.
If there's conversation going on at the same time, normally that's okay.
Right, it drowns it out.
But if I've just sat at a table with people just quiet and eating, the sound it's one of those sounds.
And some people have hang-ups about that. If I can hear their teeth clicking, if I hear them, snapping or like whatever, that kind of bugs me.
Or if they're eating really crunchy food.
That doesn't bother me. I don't really mind.
Like baby carrots to me are the worst.
Really?
Oh man, I can't stand that.
I have some baby carrots in my fridge.
I bet you do. Don't you dare eat them in front of me. Unless we're talking at the same time.
I'm so tempted to stop this recording right now, Tom.
No, we must focus for the listeners.
Exactly, see. But so with food, because people are conditioned that when it's food time, it's also socializing time. It's like they're at a restaurant, and they sit down and they have to chat, with their friends.
And actually, this is actually why, most games when I used to actually do games at restaurants, like late at night, game didn't start until the food was mostly gone.
Yeah.
And we were just down to drinks.
Yeah. And it's the same thing at a gaming table. You can't really run a game, even if there's no food present, if everybody's socializing. For a lot of people, the gaming is the social event of the week. Like that's
their big thing. That's what they look forward to every week.
Yeah, and I mean, and that's fine. But the more you socialize, the less you game. So you have to think about your priorities. If it's fine for you to socialize and then use gaming as an excuse to do that,
that's cool.
Instead of going to your local sports ball, squadron contest, whatever.
Yes, go team. Yes. Score a goal unit.
Goes my favorite squadron.
Beat the opponents soundly.
Yes, exactly. Oh, that opponent, he broke one of the rules and should be penalized.
Yay, they scored a goal unit.
Yes, a goal unit.
I cannot take credit for that. That is Brian Regan.
Okay. Nice. Squadrons from The Simpsons.
Yes.
They Apu is like trying to pretend to be American.
Oh, yes.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yes,
I know. And so do half of our listeners.
Okay.
So, but and then finally, of course, there's gadgets. I mean, that's the other thing that causes. And by gadgets, I basically mean smartphones, not just iPhones, but Android phones.
We have a lot of passing phones around. Like, here, check this picture out. Or
by a lot, you mean Aaron
and Jason.
Aaron and Jason, yeah, true. Aaron and Jason, they have to show their shit or they have to play their music, and most of the time, it's like. Actually, the music is okay. Like if it's just a little sound clip,
what Bill did.
Yeah. But Aaron's like, oh, take a look at this new Green Lantern,
or when Jason said, hey, check out this new picture of Thor.
Yeah, and like, yes, we can do that. But again, this all takes away from the game because it breaks a person's focus and their interest in the game, and even they're like, oh shit, what was I going to do again? Okay, I'll do this. They have to, you lose all that time. So. That would be the first suggestion if you want to help your game run on time. Separate your gaming from your food, your socializing, and your gadgets.
I say, as for gadgets, do what you do at the movie theater.
Yeah,
turn your ringer off and put them in your pocket.
I leave it out, but I turn it on silent, and then I'll look at it, but I won't answer it. Unless it's like life or death or whatever. If it's a text message,
Caleb does. Caleb has his phone out.
Yeah,
and he gets messages all the time, but he just looks who it is, and that's it.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest,
good job, Caleb.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've texted at games, but sometimes I text players who are at the table, and then we're conspiring. It's a great way to pass notes without actually doing that. So
I still say passing notes is a treasured gaming pastime, and you really need to actually pass a note
so everyone can see it.
Yeah.
And be like,
well, everyone can see that you're passing a note.
Yeah, I see.
If you keep it secret, no.
Yeah.
No.
Aw. Well, different strokes for different folks, but I mean, I do definitely turn to silent, and then I pretty much always ignore it. I mean, I'm aware of it, so
I would say now, maybe you are expecting a really important call.
Right.
I would just announce that, like, hey, everyone, I got to have my phone with me waiting for this call.
Right,
let
but
them
that's
know.
pretty easy.
Yeah, let them know.
Yeah.
But I would say there's no need to look up the latest Green Lantern pictures.
Or show like, oh, there's a great YouTube video you should see, or blah blah blah.
Yeah, we do that after the game.
Yeah, you should. So again, separate the food, the social, and the gadget. Now, so that should help take care of the lack of focus. But then the second thing is lack of preparation,
as that Divine Fire game clearly demonstrated.
Right. Now, when we mean prepare, like, you can either have a game ready to play. And that means if you either have the material ready to prepare, or if you're really good at improvising, make sure you're mentally alert. Like that guy, I think the main problem with that guy was he wasn't mentally alert. I mean, he wasn't ready to run the game.
I mean, he's run the game before, so I know he knew what to do. It's just, his brain was not in it.
Right. And fatigue is a hell of a thing. I mean, I've run
games
often,
very tired. I'll say often, and that's not a problem, because a lot of times you can just say, hey guys, I am just not ready for this.
Right.
But I think that's a problem at a con game when people have paid money for tickets to play.
That's not an show
option.
up.
Yeah, that's not an option.
Yeah, I mean that's a jerk thing to do. That's just,
it's never happened to me, but I've heard some people it has.
Oh yeah, no, it happens. I mean, and part of it's unavoidable. I mean, I've run like Gen Con on Sunday, Sunday morning. I am pretty gone. I'm not like
I'm actually I didn't show up at a game I was supposed to run, but. One year at Gen Con was the year we did U-Boat House, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a game Sunday morning, and there is no effing way I'm getting to that game.
Yeah. I mean, that happens. I mean, the one Gen Con I ran 6 games. Yeah, the Sunday game was pretty tough.
And you slept a lot of the way back to Springfield, and I actually didn't give you shit about that.
Yeah. So know your limitations. But have a game ready to play. I mean, have something.
This is actually a problem I have sometimes. Yeah. You'll be ready to run this, right? Like, yeah, you bet. And the day comes, I'm like, I'm not ready.
Yeah.
But I've said I was going to do this.
Yeah.
I'm like, motherfucker, and
such is the burden of a GM.
Yeah, and it's basically, do you either look like a douchebag beforehand and say, yeah, I'm not ready to run this, or do you do it after the game when you run a turd?
Yeah. Or you improvise like a boss. Like that's what I would do. I
get off work, Ross.
Yes, Well, I'm a boss. That's the thing.
You're not.
I'm like a boss.
You're like a boss, which is not a boss.
Yeah. Anyway,
which meant you sucked a dude's dick. Remember?
Oh shit!
Yeah, I forgot about that.
No, that ain't me. That ain't me.
But you chopped your balls off and died.
Hell yeah!
Exactly.
Anyway, so lack of endurance. And I think the main thing with endurance isn't necessarily being like physically and mentally ready. It's actually wanting to play, like gaming fatigue. Like, do you actually want to play this game? And that's fine if you don't, because bad gaming is worse. No gaming is better than bad gaming, as we always say. So,
and back as soon as back at your old apartment for a while, there was a time when I actually thought, oh, motherfucker, I have a game tonight at Ross's.
Really? What game?
God, I cannot.
Was it Massanai or Lothotep?
No, it was the D&D game we ran before that.
The Epic one? It wasn't Iron
Heroes.
No,
it was 3.5. I know that.
Was it Epic?
I don't think and it wasn't Epic either.
Okay. Was it the one Patrick was running?
Might have been.
That was Iron Heroes. That was like 1 or 2 sessions.
No. That wasn't Iron Heroes. It was some D&D game. I know it was 3.0 or 3.5.
Yeah.
Was
I running it?
I think you were.
Okay.
But there was a time I actually was thinking, God damn it, I have to.
It wasn't the one I was running in Geekers.
No.
Okay.
I can't remember what the life of me was, but there was a time when that was happening.
Huh. Interesting.
Oh, I'm sorry. I admit that.
No, I'm a horrible monster. As a GM,
you should pray for death.
Yeah, I should, because I'm clearly I'm a monster, and terrible at GM.
But no, that didn't happen very much.
Yeah, but yeah, you have to want to play or run,
and you have to want to run too.
Yeah. So I think so. Those are kind of the overall guidelines, but there are things, once you realize a game is going on and it's starting to get stop derailing. It's starting to derail. It's starting to get drag on. There are things you can do to sort of bring it back. And I think the first thing I think is rallying the players. As a GM after a break or whatever. You were talking about that. So
yeah, I've noticed that sometimes we just need to take a break because either people are rushing to the bathroom a lot, or someone mentions, hey, you know what would make this game better? Booze. Let's go get some booze.
Yeah, right.
And which is fine. Eventually I think a break in a game is a really good thing.
Yeah.
If you see it happen, like, okay, hey guys, let's take 5 here.
Yeah.
But I've seen it happen a lot. And they once that break is over, they cannot rally things back. They cannot get things started again.
Right.
It's suddenly during the break, someone started mentioning, hey, did you see? Hey, did you hear about this? The new
Iron Man
movie,
yeah.
and then that
Green Lantern.
They want to talk about that for the next 30 minutes.
Right.
And there you are, like, okay, we're back, and they're still talking.
Yeah. And I think the best way to do that is basically call their attention and just say, hey, come on, guys, we're gaming, let's go. I've had to do that several times.
Which, as a player, you can also help with the rallying. Okay, guys, come on, let's get focused here.
Yes, definitely. I think the more players encourage each other to stay on topic, stay on task, the better things are. Because I try and do that. I mean, I don't say I'm a backseat GM, but I try to be a good player.
We're all in the group. Man.
Exactly. It's all
this is a team
collaboration for awesomeness or something.
Extreme awesome factor.
And it really helps as a GM if you have the confidence to do that. You really this is my game, this is what I'm going to do, and we're going to do it.
And you have to remember, a lot of people don't do it. I feel like, I'm not trying to pick on Aaron, but this is Aaron to a T. He doesn't want to get in anyone's face.
Yeah.
Doesn't want to seem like he's coming across as unreasonable. So the thing is, Aaron, if you do it, I'm proud of you, and you prove me wrong, but. Just the thing, it's like the GM not wanting to seem like a dick.
Yeah.
So you're just like, okay, guys, all right, we're good. No, you got you got to go boldly.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, guys, let's go. Come
on. And I think there's a fine line between too much and not enough confidence. I think somebody commented on the New World game episode 40, the pupil, which is about, of course,
By the way, I love the image you put up for it.
It was the only one I actually looked for humorous images of Anakin Skywalker, and that was the first one I could find.
Very nice,
very appropriate.
Very nice.
Yeah. But for those of you who aren't listening, it's about Cody. Not quite derails the game, but really obsesses over one NPC that
he bombs the tracks.
Yeah. He really, really focused in on Anakin, and I was needling him a little bit, but I didn't realize he had this kind of thing. But at the end, one of the person's comments says that I was able to keep the game going, but I did allow a woman to survive because the players mentioned all these things. I was willing to change the game because the player said, "Oh, well, we did this and this and this to protect the woman." And be like, "All right, fine, she lives."
Well, come on, Ross. The poison gas wouldn't kill instantly.
See, exactly. That's the exact same sort of thing. You have to be confident, but you can't be obstinate. A GM really does have to be accommodating to a certain degree. You pose challenges, but you can't be an asshole about it. Because, being an asshole too much is, it's no longer fun.
You're an asshole.
Yeah. Because, do you guys think I'm a hard GM, that my games are difficult, that are...
No, I would say they are not... There's a fine line between difficult and challenging.
Yeah.
You clearly are on the challenging side.
Right.
And thank God for that.
So you don't feel like every game is like a walk in the park where your success is guaranteed?
Dude, are you fucking kidding me? I'm sorry to keep swearing, but fuck, no. There are sessions, like, Rich, every time I sit down with a game for you that I know there's going to be a combat, like, all right, who are we going to lose? I go, my God, I was only there the last 10 minutes of the fight in the Collider for Wild Talents, but you told me Caleb was like, we're all going to die.
Yeah.
It's TPK. That's what it's going to be. You just call this episode TPK because people are going to die. Everyone's going to die. And thank God I got there for the last part.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, you kind of
you make it clear though that, hey, You're saying it's not so much you're eager, but you're saying I am not afraid to waste a PC.
Right. Well, it's not a waste of PC. It's supposed to challenge it without that fine line between being too much like Aaron or being too much like a Stonewall GM who says no. This is the other one. Yeah.
You don't stonewall, but you clearly have consequences in mind. And they're realistic consequences.
Yeah.
They're not ridiculous consequences. That it's well, if you don't go this path, I have. It'll be bombed by this B-2 bomber flying overhead.
Yeah.
Where'd that come in? It was there. You just didn't. It's stealth. You didn't notice it.
Yeah.
Stealth.
But speaking of scenarios, I think the final thing we haven't mentioned, we're talking about like metagaming things, basically like what to do at the table, the social contract, things you can do to help bring the game about. But I think for a GM in particular, I think that one fundamental thing, and this goes really for convention games, is you have to be aware of what you can actually do in the time you have. I think too many GMs are they're like at a buffet table and they
pile their plate too high.
Yeah, you're like, I have this grand idea, I have this great campaign, blah 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 blah. I want to do all this shit, this amazing stuff.
Like you will be going through the mines of Moria, then across the lands of Mordor, all the way to Mount Doom.
And then you'll snowboard down this mountain into the
on lava.
Yeah, exactly. Snowboarding on lava somehow, because that's a thing now. So
it was in the Winter Olympics, man.
Yeah, of course. Well,
I'm sorry. Extreme Summer Olympics.
Yeah. So, but you have to realize every single thing you do in a game takes time, and a lot of games they start out in movie scripts. I know I've mentioned this before in other episodes. In movie scripts, the
movie
scripts. Sorry, in movies,
screenplays.
Yeah, screenplays. The goal is that the golden rule. One of the golden rules is start late and end early. You start a particular scene as late as possible, and then end it as soon as you can. So that's what I do when I run games is I start the game as late as I can in terms of like where the players show up and where they can enact things. So
like that came up with that game I ran on the first part of the game I ran last week.
Right.
And also I think actually
Divine 5-3. We'll get to that in the end.
Yeah, and also I think Aaron's The Haunting.
Right.
He starts us way too early.
Right. Yeah, The Haunting is a great example. Because in a role-playing game, you want to start the game right before the players get to make decisions, where they actually get to do shit. Too many games, I think, is way too fucking common, where you start a game like an hour's worth of action. You
start with a cutscene.
Yeah, a cutscene that takes way too fucking long. Like, all right, you get in a D&D, like in The Haunting, the mission is to investigate the haunted house. So,
but first we have to meet with the person goes to contact us about the haunted house.
Right.
We are at some like Chuck E. Cheese place.
Yeah, some restaurant, yeah. And it just goes on and on and on and on and on, and we basically bulldoze our way as quickly as possible to the haunted house.
But by then you're
yeah, we were just being assholes. So
yeah.
What we should do in a game is ideally is if I do it was running. I've run The Haunting. What I do is I say, all right, you've been hired to investigate a haunted house. Here's the address. Here's what you know. What do you do? And then the players are then like, oh shit, they can go straight to the house,
go to the
they can
library,
choose to go to the library. So they have decisions. They can make choices. The game has begun.
And look, I am guilty as shit of this.
Yeah,
Ross. I mean, actually, I think you were way back in the day too.
Every GM does. I think. I mean, it took me a long time to realize this. I mean, this is like, my advanced GM foo or whatever. Is you in order to get. For me, it took a while to do this, but I think I caught on and seeing. I wanted to get to the point where the players get to do cool shit, or do something. I want to see what
Roll
they do.
dice.
Yeah. And with this, games just start too early. So that's the first thing you do, and then realize how much you can actually do in a session. Like combat takes a while, so you can't. If you want to have 6 fights in a 4-hour game, it ain't fucking happening unless each fight is to shoot. Someone who's been hogtied, and like go to the next room and shoot another
6 coup de grace.
Yeah, that you could do. Kill 6 orcs to get to a pie,
Oh, the pie.
Yes. But you're not going to get like, oh, I want to have this awesome battle, and then a car chase, and then another battle, and then a gun battle on top of a helicopter somehow. I don't know how to be on top of a helicopter, but
If you could figure that out, if you figure out how to do that, please send it to us at RPPR, and we will steal it.
It could be through time powers, like they're all time stopping and fighting on the helicopter blades.
Or it's permanent bullet time.
Yes, it's the Matrix. So I've just come up with the game. Did I just blow your mind? So, but when you do this, you need to keep that in mind, that you can only do so much. Role-playing takes time. Interacting with NPCs take time. Players making decisions take time.
And hell, they may spend an hour at that. At the kitten shop that you just thought would be a throwaway thing.
Oh my God, yeah. If you're running Star Wars the game and you're like, all right, we're going to do Star Wars New Hope in 4 hours, and by hour 2.5 they're still in Tatooine,
because they've killed Han.
Because Han's charged too much, so they're
apparently Han did fire first and they responded.
Yeah, exactly. Or they're like, they blew their bargaining check and Han asked for too much money, so they're hiding in garbage bins.
Or whoever was playing Obi-Wan failed his force check. Like, no, these are the droids we're looking for.
Yeah. Well, then the game would be over. But be GTA Tatooine outrunning 5 stars.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
that'd be awesome.
Son
of a bitch.
Oh my God, that's a great game too. Yeah.
GTA Tatooine.
Riding around bounty hunting. Yeah, nice. Shooting up Sarlaccs for fun and profit.
Yeah, like having your Sith where you could actually have like the San Andreas workout rules, so you get bulkier as you work
out. That's a great game. You'll have to run that, Tom.
I will, yeah.
There's actually Star Wars rules for the one roll engine.
I do know that.
Okay, well, we can totally do that then. So anyways, keep that in mind. Now, the final thing, I think, as a GM, understanding how long it'll take players to get through a scenario, is if the players start getting stuck, if things are starting to slow down, if everyone's in a food coma or whatever else, your game is just dying a slow death, change it. Now, Raymond Chandler said, when in doubt, have 2 guys kick in the door with guns. But do something to that.
Something
effect.
Explodes.
Yeah, something explodes.
A fire alarm goes off.
God knows in games I've had random shit happen, like, players are being silent and uncooperative. Well, something's gonna fuck with them.
Or you can be simple, like a phone rings.
Yeah, phone rings. Like in Call of Cthulhu games, I know like Aaron talked about how he had 2 players that were very wallflowers and weren't doing anything.
And as I understand it, and he was trying to get them involved.
Right. So you're attacked by something horrible and you can't kill. What do you do? Oh, well, we're going to get with the rest of the group and get with the bot. Oh, that's nice.
Oh, good. That works.
Or you die. Oh, you rolled a lot of crappy rolls. You die. So that was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So that would be awesome.
But shake shit up.
Yeah. So hopefully this gives you guys an idea of what to do when your game takes too long.
On whichever side of the table you're sitting on.
Yeah. If you're running a 12-hour game and that's what you want to do and you want to have lots of food and socialize and you're having fun, that you wouldn't change your setting, that's fine.
I just say, the most important thing, if you are having fun, then you're doing something.
I mean, different groups like different things, but if you're in a 12-hour, an 8-hour game and you're thinking it's taking too long and you're bored because everyone's being a jackass and not focusing,
and not even not even a funny jackass.
Yeah, just like, oh my God, I want to get through this dungeon and no one will fucking cooperate. Well, then these are some of the things you can try to speed things along, like a boss. Of course, we will have break letter along. Tom does have a letter for all you lucky listeners out there.
I've had a letter the last few times, Ross.
Yeah, I know. Well,
or are you still but there was this time back in the day you didn't have a letter.
Yep, that's space. I'll hold
that. I will never let you forget that.
Yep, exactly.
And am I pretty much? Am I crystallizing your thoughts perfectly here?
Yeah, pretty much.
And I published things, and you never will.
Well, that's up to you, Tom.
But these are your thoughts.
No, I'd be like, well, Tom chooses not to publish things because he's Tom. Derp. Herpaderp. That's you.
That's you, that is.
And then finally, of course, we have shout-outs and an anecdote. We'll talk about Divine Fire 3, Tom's game that he just finished Monday and was pretty special.
What the hell does that mean?
We'll be right back.
James Bond. The iconic theme song, the Walther PPK pistol, the many Bond girls, the over-the-top villains. All of these things are part of what make James Bond the iconic character we have been following for almost 50 years. Yet, while I love the Bond films, most of them anyway, I can't help but be struck by a nagging suspicion. James Bond is actually a terrible spy. I know that right now Bond fanatics are getting out their instruments of torture and are ready to submit me to the Blood Eagle, but hear me out. What makes a successful spy? Anonymity, for one, the ability to blend into the crowd in whatever country they are operating in. There are other things, to be sure, and Bond certainly possesses many of them, but let's focus on the aforementioned too. Firstly, anonymity. If there's anyone on Earth who is less anonymous than James Bond, besides maybe heads of state, I defy you to find them. Who doesn't know everything about James Bond? His name, his gun, his drink of choice, his car, or his country of origin? When even the lowliest underling knows every detail about the man, how can he possibly infiltrate anything? And as for his ability to blend in, he is a blazingly white, upper-crust British man with a nigh unstoppable libido. He hits on anything with a vagina. How hard would it be to say, even in the lowliest thug, look for the British man sipping a vodka martini trying to plow every female in the bar? Which brings me to a true story. In the ill-fated Ninjas and Super Spies game of the early 90s, we were playing a group of independent spies and ninjas operating as part of a for-hire cell. On one mission to Montenegro, the GM revealed to us that none other than 007 himself was after the same target we were. Apparently, we were supposed to piss ourselves with fear. We asked him if we knew of Bond as spies ourselves. The GM sputtered a bit and said, "Of course you do! He's one of the most famous spies on Earth." With that, we got to work. First, we used our contacts to find out which hotel in the city had checked in 1960s Aston Martin. Having done that, we infiltrated the hotel's bar and waited for somebody to order a vodka martini, shaken, not stirred. We got the order and added a few drops of sodium cyanide. Boom, 007 dead. Sorry, Mr. Bond, we love you, but you talk too damn much.
That was an excellent letter. Although I have to mention, the world's most famous spy is kind of a non sequitur if you think about it. I mean, so that would be kind of inevitable.
Well, when a spy gets famous, he's not doing his job right.
Exactly. I'm kind of surprised that you guys didn't just set the hotel on fire and shoot everyone that ran out.
No, we were actually playing stealth specialists. We were ones that we do the job with precision.
I gotcha. So were you hired to kill him, or was it just fuck it, we want to kill him?
Well, we were after a target, and we're getting paid a handsome sum of money to do so, and he was after the same target. So it's pretty much, we are a very relatively unknown new group, and we need money.
Yeah.
We need it a lot more than you need
it. He just got in the way.
And so we just really thought about it. And I know the GM was planning this to be this whole big thing, but we just... No, all right. And that's why we in character asked the GM, like, okay, so we know about him, right?
Yeah.
And he says, and of course, he's like, well, yeah, he's one of the most famous spies in the world. So we would know basically anything a James Bond fan would know, right? Like, yeah. Okie dokie. It literally took us 5 minutes to form that plan.
Yeah, that's it.
I mean, it was pretty easy. Like, how many people actually drive a 1960s Aston Martin?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So, just check in with valet parking and, because they have to put down whatever they're parking.
Right.
Like, this 5-star hotel here has just checked in an Aston Martin.
Right.
We just got one of our guys into the bar and waited for that drink order. And there it came, like, few drops, and then screams as someone drops dead.
Nice. Oops. That's another thing. Never introduce NPCs in the game that you aren't ready to have them die, because
I will say this: at least the GM
rolled with it.
Nice. Realizing, he said that like it sucked. I couldn't find a single fault with that plan.
Yeah. All right. So with this, we go into our shout outs. First shout out, I mentioned, but you want to? Let me talk about. You know what the OSS is, right?
Yeah, it was the Office of Secret Service, right?
Strategic
Service.
Yes.
Basically, this forerunner to the CIA in World War II.
Exactly. They did dirty tricks and ungentlemanly
things.
Yes, exactly. So they've declassified the training films that the OSS.
I'm glad you told me this. I can't wait to see this.
Yeah. And somebody's put them online. And there's a whole archive of them. And in fact, there's one which I've watched a little bit of. It's like how to blend in, how to infiltrate a city. So it talks about like, in fact, they mentioned, well, if your cover is a mechanic, you shouldn't check into the 5-star hotel. That would be suspicious. And the secret police probably have spies there that are watching.
No,
informants.
they will always have spies.
Well, they will have informants there. But I did watch another one that was on how to derail a train, and it's harder than you think. They actually ran experiments where they like, okay, we're going to blow up one section of the track on one side and see if that does it. Okay, we'll do it on 12 inches on both sides. Well, that didn't work. Well, we'll do it 30 inches on one side and then 60 inches diagonally across from it. Oh, that finally worked. So they ran like 5 or 6 tests with the same damn
experimentation is how you learn.
So that was pretty awesome. How to derail a train with plastic explosives. And there are all these other ones. In fact, John Ford, Hollywood helped in these movies. And like John Ford made some training films. Now, what's interesting is
patriotic.
Yes, these training films don't mention specific nations. Like the guy in the How to Be Undercover was like, he's going to enemy town, to do this. So even though they're training about the Nazis, they were, obviously.
We're not going to mention.
Yeah, exactly. Because what if they want to use it again? So that's a very cool resource. I saw it on Metafilter, and
that's like Bond dresses to the nines all the time.
Yeah, you watch this film and you realize James Bond. Yeah, he's not a very good spy. He's just terrible.
Now you want a good spy? Look like Deep Throat.
Yeah,
nobody had a clue who he was until he finally revealed himself when he was in his 80s.
Yeah, very much.
Or Valerie Plame until she was out of the sons of bitches.
Yeah, exactly. A bad spy would be those Russians.
Okay, those really weren't spies.
I think that the hot woman that was with him has got her own TV show in Russia now.
Yeah.
Anna Chapman, and I think that's her name.
Yeah. See, too damn visible to be spies.
Nice. All right, so you had some shout-outs.
Yeah, actually, I'll do my first one, which was I finally got a Region 1 DVD copy of Godzilla Returns, otherwise known as Godzilla 1985 in America. And essentially, it's kind of the 30-year, and it's supposed to be the 30-year anniversary. Where in the American version, they actually brought Raymond Burr back in,
right,
to do some scenes. But it's I admit I love the Godzilla movies.
Well, what's not to like?
This is the one, but this particular DVD first had the Godzilla Bambi versus Godzilla short at the beginning.
Nice.
Yeah, and I like the ones where he thoroughly actually trounces a city, and I think the older movies did it better, where they actually had to build the model and then destroy it.
Right.
I think when CG came in, it starts to really lose something.
Right.
But Godzilla Returns is one of my favorites.
Cool.
And I finally found a Region 1 DVD of it.
All right.
Very happy.
These are two things, but I'll just mention as one shout out. Arkham Horror and Mansions of Madness. These are board games from Fantasy Flight Games that are extremely elaborate and hardcore. They're, like $80 or something. But I've recently got a chance to play both of them. In fact, I played Arkham Horror with Cody and Mike and several of Cody's friends. And they're really fun games. They're really for the Call of Cthulhu fan. And both you're investigators that are trying to solve some sort of evil. In Arkham Horror, you're trying to stop the great old ones. In Mansions of Madness, there's a bunch of different scenarios, and it's kind of like House on a Haunted Hill.
I like that. I really like that game.
Yeah. So Mansion of Madness is a little simpler, but they're both like extremely elaborate. There's lots of different cards. Like every character has their own little quest in Arkham Horror. So like I played a doctor and I had to gain up so many clue points and then spin them, and then I got a bonus. If I failed, then I would have, or if I killed too many monsters before I built up the clue points, then I would have been cursed or would have lost gained some penalties. There's like one character who literally has to die as part of his quest. He's like a deep one, or his name is like Silas Marsh or something like that. He's a member of the Marsh family. Yeah, and
that's not gonna. Yeah, that's not. If you live in Innsmouth, if you come from Innsmouth with the last name Marsh,
yeah,
you're
either way. His quest is he dies at the end. So, but there's the overall quest, and then there's personal quests, and then you can go around. I know there probably a lot of you already played this game, but if you're if you're into Lovecraft, if you love board games, I mean, these are like the Mount Everest. I wouldn't say the Mount Everest, but they're really up there in terms of complexity, and like you can get a lot of time out of it. If you want to spend 8 hours playing a single game, like play Arkham Horror, some of the expansions. Like we just played with one, the Innsmouth one. No, we had two. We had one that was cards and one that was Innsmouth. And yeah, they're like Mansion of Madness is great too because you have like really well crafted miniatures of like all the monsters, like zombies and chthons and Bayekis and all this other good stuff. So,
actually, speaking of the haunting on the house on the hill,
yeah,
it's not really shout out, but they released a new edition of it. They fixed a lot of the scenarios that were completely unwinnable one way or another.
Yeah,
like one in particular is the Banshee.
Yeah,
and the version we played, if I do not know how the Banshee is supposed to win.
I gotcha.
Yeah, we got to that one once. Actually, I played that one twice, and the Banshee, I forget what she's really supposed to do, but she just cannot affect the players that much. And when you still have like 3 or 4 players against her,
yeah,
it's so easy to kill her.
I gotcha.
So they fixed a lot of that.
Cool. So we'll put a link out to that. So yeah, if you're into Lovecraft or you're into big board games, definitely give those two a try. Mansion Management just came out. I can recommend both. They're both fun. So
awesome.
Yeah. Cody was a little frustrated, but Cody also made fun of me because I could actually pronounce Nyarlathotep. That's who we fought.
Nyarlathotep.
We actually beat him in Arkham Horror because we knew to stock up clue points.
Mortals win.
Basically, yeah, we actually did pretty well for our first game.
Nice.
And some of them, it's like if they're Doom, basically you have to either seal 6 gates in Arkham Horror or defeat the Great Old One. And as events progress in the game, the Great Old One will rack up Doom points, representing how close he is to waking up. And when he wakes up, then you have to fight him, and it's like the boss fight. But in like some of it, like Cthulhu, if Cthulhu wakes up, game over. Everyone's devoured. There's like. Nyarlathotep wakes up. It's like if you don't have at least one clue point, you die. But if you have clue points, then you can survive and fight him. But
lovely.
Cthulhu is like fuck you. I win.
Well, we love Cthulhu.
Yeah, Cthulhu is awesome. So anyway, it's a very hard board game, but it's very fun. And Mansion Madness, we only played one scenario, the air, but it was great and it was fun. We lost the bad evil one in that one.
Yeah.
Okay. Finally, the investigator names are all great. There's like a hobo named Ashcan Pete. Then there's an investigator named Joe Diamond. And
nice.
Yeah, there are a lot of badass names in that.
McLarge Huge.
Yeah. Well, no, these are like bad, like legit PC. Like I'm going to use those names as NPCs in a game somewhere. So
nice.
Anyway, so let's see. We saw a movie recently. You wanted to mention that?
Yeah. I'm sure many of you have seen it, but we watched Your Highness.
Yeah.
It is much fun. Though I do feel I need to start up the Minotaur Anti-Defamation League to protest cruelty to Minotaurs.
Yeah. It's basically a fantasy stoner comedy.
It's D&D with stoners.
Yeah, with Pineapple Express, Cheech and Chong movies with fantasy tropes. So,
and a lot of swearing.
Yeah, sex and nudity and sex. Yeah, yeah.
And horrible man children with cauldrons.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. It's pretty great. Let's see here. I have been playing a video game recently that's been very fun.
Go on.
Yes, Lead and Gold.
Does it involve zombies?
No.
I know. I can't believe it.
I know, right?
But games exist for Ross that don't include zombies?
Yeah, it's a Wild West multiplayer third-person shooter, so a little like Red Dead Redemption. I got it on sale on Steam for $2.50. You can get it for like $10. And you just pick one of 4 classes and you go out and you shoot other people. And it's just very simple to get into, very fun, and great controls and very easy to learn. So like a Western Team Fortress 2.
Nice.
So great graphics, and it's a lot of fun. I've put some hours into it.
Super duper.
Yeah, you can shoot off their hats too. There are hats. So if you're a Team Fortress 2 player, there are hats involved.
Well, yeah.
So that's the important thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have a game.
Yeah.
Once again, my thing for older games. Not quite as old as the last one, Flight Sim I did.
Yeah.
But this one is Jane's Combat Flight Simulator.
Yeah.
I believe this came out in the late 90s. So it's actually a CD game. And it's basically a combat flight sim that it has different campaigns.
Might be abandonware by now.
Might be. But I still have the original CDs.
Right.
And what I love mainly is the mission. You can set up your own missions.
Right.
And you can make them as, it could be like, okay, I'm going to be flying over Iraq or this country, and there's going to be, I want maximum anti-AAA and maximum SAM sites. So, and I'll be flying in with my one F-22 Raptor. I want to be facing 15 MiG-29s.
You really like the flight simulator.
I love flight sims, but what I love about this one is you can fly any aircraft they have in the game, which includes Air Force One. Or you can actually be flying, I want to be flying a MiG-29 facing 15 Air Force Ones. I set that up a few times.
Nice.
And you can't fly helicopters, but you can have them as enemies shooting at you.
Do you like any recent flight sims?
I tried Hawks, the Hawks 2.
Uh-huh.
I can't. I don't like it.
Okay.
Because it's almost incomprehensible. And you can get killed by an enemy that's 150 miles away.
Right.
And at one point, you're just flying around, like, are doing pretty good. Suddenly, you just explode, and you don't know why. And what's more is, I like being able to make my own missions. That was the most fun part. You can make them, totally just insane, like I do.
Right.
Or you can really set up kind of a complex. It's like, all right, take off from here, make the waypoint here, bomb this airfield before these aircraft take off. Otherwise, I'll be flying into a MiG soup.
I gotcha. So, listeners out there, if you're a big flight sim fan, maybe you could recommend something for Tom to try out. Something a little less on the realistic complexity curve, a little more on the fun side. Yeah,
like I think my favorite sci-fi flight sim is still TIE Fighter.
Mm-hmm.
Love that game.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
And they're challenging as shit too.
Yeah, no, I suck at flight simulators. Any one is too hard for me. So,
did that jumping guy, did the rot get handled?
I like shooting people on foot, not natural. Man wasn't meant to fly.
Well, man wasn't meant to shoot guns either.
Yeah, he was.
No, he wasn't.
The Saint of Killer would disagree with you.
Ooh,
yeah, preacher. See what I did there?
Yeah, I got you there.
Yeah, I just suck at that genre. So I have one more. Let's see here. Speaking of games, there's the Humble Bundle. It's a Frozen Byte is doing a software like charity fundraising event where you can get money. Basically, you pay whatever you want for 5 video games. Trine, Shadowground Survivor, and then 2 Jack Claw, which is like a demo that they haven't. They're still working on it, so you get to like the beta, and then one called Splort, and which is still in advance. I haven't tried that one. I just tried out Trine, which is a lot like the Lost Vikings, where you have 3 little fantasy characters and a platformer, and they each have different abilities,
right?
And you switch between them to solve puzzles and stuff, and fight enemies. So there's like a knight, a thief, and a wizard. So the Trine's fun. Shadowgrounds is like Alien Swarm, top down, shoot lots of aliens.
Yeah.
So that's fun too, and it's got multiplayer, which I haven't tried out yet because I just got it. But you can pay whatever you want for this. So you can be a total cheap bastard and pay a penny for them, or you can be like a boss, be a man and pay like $2,000, like Notch did, the guy who did Minecraft. He put in $2,000. Well, he's a top contributor.
Well, he's got $2,000 to contribute.
Yeah, no, he's doing pretty well. So, but you can specify whatever you want. The average contribution is like $10 or $12.
I've seen people play Minecraft.
Yeah,
I hear that's the game. You're like, I'll try this out. 12 hours later, you have a skull fortress.
Yeah, I've heard some pretty nasty things.
There's a guy that made the entire Starship Enterprise.
Yeah,
complete with the interior.
Somebody defaced the Wikipedia article for it and called it the Autism Simulator, which is horrible, and I apologize. I didn't mean that. I'm just telling you. But we're laughing about it, so, again, we are monsters. So, yes. Minecraft...
But you're laughing,
But seriously,
too.
If you play Minecraft too much, you're like, whoa.
That should be called Asperger's.
Well, we don't want to do that. That's horrible, Tom.
Sorry, monsters.
Yeah. And then finally, I think... 2 more things because I'm just full of them. One is a movie I just saw called Tenebrae. It's an Italian horror film, 1982. Argento directed.
Dario Argento. I've seen both of the Demons movies.
Yes, so have I. I have the posters in my office, which is what Tom is looking at right now.
But I've seen both of them.
Yes.
One's better.
One is better. But yeah, because it has a katana. So that's why it's better. But Tenebrae is a psychological thriller. It's a giallo, which is, there's a black glove serial killer going around killing people, and he's being inspired by this horror novelist work, his latest novel, which is called Tenebrae. And the horror novelist is in Rome trying to help the police solve this crime because the killer keeps sending him notes saying, I killed these people. And it's got, it's kind of a whodunit kind of thing. So it's a mystery, but there's also some really interesting gore. Now, the thing about Tenebrae, which kind of ruined it for me, well, not ruined it for me, but
oh, yes, this.
It's got an electronic synthesized soundtrack from Goblin. Goblin, of course, did the Dawn of the Dead, 1978 track, and a lot about that very distinct late 70s, early 80s, heavily synth style of music. That's very now there's an electronic duo of DJs called Justice. They're French. They're pretty popular. They came out with an album called Cross 2007 that was very popular. And one of the songs on there is Phantom. Phantom samples the main track of Tenebrae, because Tenebrae is a heavily synthesized, very electronic, very very pop kind of soundtrack, and there's a very distinctive sound for this title track that Phantom basically just rips off and then adds some beats to it, and that's basically it. And so like every time they're playing, they're like, oh, the killer is stalking the woman. I'm like, they're playing fucking Justice.
Like, son of a bitch.
Yeah, so they're totally ripping
it broke
off Justice.
The immersion, didn't it?
It did break the immersion, but it's still a great movie, and the ending's really great because there's stylistically some very interesting choices. There's like one scene where he kills two women in a house about midway through the movie, and the camera's just following them through the house, sweeping in and up from downstairs to upstairs, and it's just kind of this very flowing, very elegant kind of thing. So
nice.
Yeah, so that's out on DVD, so go ahead and get that. It's just great. And finally, Marble Hornets is on DVD. Now, I don't know if you guys know this. There's Marble Hornets, the crazy web series / alternate reality game of people that's based on Slender Man. That I've done my own Slender Man games, and Marble Hornets is. Let me just read what the back of the DVD says. 2006, a student filmmaker named Alex Crayley began acting peculiar soon after he abandoned his film Marble Hornets and disappeared altogether. After 3 years and no contact with Alex, one of his close friends began to look through the raw footage tapes of Marble Hornets. If he found anything unusual, he uploaded it as an entry onto YouTube. Between June 20, 2009 and April 18th, 2010, a total of 26 entries were uploaded. These are these entries. And it is,
I've seen I've seen them all.
So
it's very trippy.
Yeah, it's very trippy, very freaky, very David Lynchian. Roger Ebert praised these. This is like really where filmmaking's going. I think this is really very low res, very kind of creepy. There's no gore really. It's all like, what did you see or what do you think is going on?
What the hell was that?
Yeah.
Did I really just see that out of the corner of my eye?
Yeah, and it works really well. And the DVD's out. It's $14.95. It's $11.95 with $3 shipping in the U.S. And
but you have to wait for the next run of it.
They're already doing another one. Okay. They sold out in the first day, the print round of 1,000. So I was lucky to get one of them. So I would highly, highly recommend this. I haven't even listened to it. It has commentary, has outtakes, has all kinds of stuff. I haven't even watched it yet. And I'm like, oh my god, my precious.
Oh god.
Yes. Let me rub it all over.
Yeah, it's cheese day and shit. You will forever be Blobbert Smith, Ross.
Yes, I will be. Oh, finally, actually, I'm glad you remember that. I almost totally forgot. AB3 has a blog. He actually started posting on our forum. So if you're a fan of our AB3 radio plays, please post on our forums. Say hi to him. And
be kind to AB3.
He is awesome. Yes, we like him, and we like his work. And
God bless you, sir.
Yes, you are.
You prince among men.
You played horrible games and wrote funny stories about them, so we didn't have to. We could laugh at your pain in a good way. We meant that in a good way, not in a.
I salute you, sir.
Yes, you're more gamer than I don't know. I'm not sure what to say, but anyways, it's complimentary. It's meant to be complimentary.
You were in a diabetic coma. It was glorious.
Yeah, there you go. But before we go, of course, we need to do our anecdote. And, of course, what better than Tom's latest game to do as an anecdote? Yeah, so why don't you tell us, Tom?
All right. Well, Divine Fire Part 3 actually plays into many of the things we discussed today. Let me just clarify that it's a two-part game. And the first part, I course, made a lot of mistakes. One, I started too early. So there's a whole lot of...
Started too early, not in like real life, but in where the game was set. So like in terms of like what the characters were doing and where you placed our characters. So anyway.
Yeah. And the first session, I didn't have much prepared. And I was kind of tired. So it's... I think
where did you set our characters, just for the listeners at home? Where should you have set them?
I should have started them right...
Well, where did you set them?
I started them at a VFW post where all the players were retired veterans of mainly Iraq and desert and Afghanistan, and a friend of theirs from their group went missing while researching a book called Divine Fire: The True Story of Hitler's Search for the Atomic Bomb.
Right,
and it started at the VFW post where. So that's when the first federal Fed guy comes there asking them if they had any knowledge to his whereabouts. Now that's where I started, and there was a whole bunch of stuff that then happened afterwards that, looking back, was totally not necessary. I should have started them when they actually got the clue to go to the subway, that he was visiting a homeless friend of his from Vietnam who lives underground.
Right.
And apparently was the one who told him the real story.
Right.
And they were essentially going down into the sewers, which, when you go down into the underground under a city in Call of Cthulhu, there's really only a few things that they can be encountered.
Right.
And essentially it's leading down to the underground ghoul colony.
Right.
That's where I should have started it. And also I thought I was making a mystery. In reality, I was kind of making an action-oriented scenario,
right?
Which I only realized at this, towards the end of the first part,
right?
So, that's that. I think the first session's a little meandering.
No, it's very linear.
Yeah, well, very linear. Yeah. So the second session, pretty much just, all right. Well, everyone was in one of those goofy moods to begin with.
Yeah, no, Caleb was gone. Caleb didn't show up, so you killed his character right off the bat.
Well, this game's I'm not gonna. This is gonna go on again. So no, he died from his wounds from what happened at the end of the first one, and then I just all right, we're going. We are going through this. We're going to get to every freaking location, and I am just going to start throwing shit at you.
Yeah,
and it went a lot. I think the second session to me went a lot better.
Right. But we were also carjacking people, stealing cars,
yes,
blowing up, setting things on fire, shooting rogue government assassins. I don't know if they're rogue or not, but
going down into
calling
underground
up
labs.
Insurance offices to try and trick them into not believing a car was stolen, which in fact it had been stolen. Which was
firing bullets at your fellow teammates.
Yeah, no, I killed 2 of the players, which is
pretty
nice. Aaron turned into a monster, and I got the final shot on him.
I mean, you can listen to it when you post, but I do have to say, Aaron got eaten by himself.
Yeah,
I'm not going to explain how that happens, but
good times.
Good
times. So
the thing is,
I'll post that sooner or later.
Yeah, I didn't like it, but everyone said they had fun both times. So
second game was more fun, but it did go a little way of the Lady Gaga, so not quite. Not.
Well, the thing is, actually, it went Lady Gaga properly. That it didn't start that way.
Yeah.
But that's how it ended up.
Yeah, a little bit.
That was, I think, the problem. Yeah, you're right. That was the problem with Lady Gaga too.
Yeah,
is I started at the crazy.
Right. Yeah, you should have tried to run a straight adventure, and then we would, of course, been horrible monsters about it. So that's what we do.
But still, I mean, I guess I consider it not a very good thing I did.
Yeah.
But it's still in my head a success because everyone said, yeah, it was great, had fun.
Yeah.
And to me, all right then.
Yeah, that's what it
why
comes down to. Yeah,
as you said, better no gaming than bad gaming.
Exactly, and good gaming beats all. So
fucking A.
It's a natural 20 in life, or something. That didn't work at all.
No, it didn't.
All right, well, this has been Role Playing Public Radio, episode 56. But the railroading's on time, which really is not.
Which is all Mussolini really did.
Yeah. He is a railroading GM.
And he was overthrown by his own people. He sucks.
Yeah, no, his campaign sucked.
Yeah, it did.
See,
Hitler's campaign was a little depressing.
Yeah, a little too grimdark for my taste. A little too
grimdark, yeah. He was running...
and then one session of Maid he ran was just creepy as hell.
Yeah, but he was running a Dark Sun game.
Yeah. was, but it could have been worse. I mean, Patton was a total min-maxer. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
God, just a munchkin.
Eisenhower was pretty even, though.
Yeah, that was a good campaign. So
Like, MacArthur just didn't give a fuck.
yeah,